name is Monica, and this is my first video. I'll give you a little background of where I come from. I currently am a teacher and have been for a lot of years. I started out teaching middle school and did special ed for a couple of years, 6th grade regular ed. Then I had 2 kids within like 16, 17 months of each other. So in the process, I decided I'd better come home, and I opened a long arm quilt business at that point so that I could work from home with 2 babies, because it was actually costing me money to be a teacher and go to work and put 2 babies in daycare. So this way I could work at home and still be with them. And my mom is close, so I was able to have her help out in a lot of ways so I could run my business. And I did that for about 12 years and then went back to teaching when my kids were in 2nd grade, 6th grade, and 8th grade. And I started teaching at their school, 3rd grade. And I did that for 2 years. In the last 4 years, I have been a reading specialist and the librarian. So it's been an absolute wonderful role to teach kids and be in their lives and things. When the pandemic hit, however, for 2 months our school came home, and like many did, and so I had more time, as we were doing many Zoom meetings and things, to sit, and I'm kind of more of a hyper person, so to just sit and do nothing but listen was not great for me. So I had to have something in my hands, so I started picking up cross stitch, where I have made many cross stitches throughout my life. In fact, there was a couple people even in college that we would sit in at night and cross stitch instead of going out and hanging out with our friends and stuff. We would do that instead. So I've been doing it for a long time, and just thought now would be a good time to share some of the things that I've done as well with everybody, and hope that you can enjoy and be inspired. I know I love all the FlossTubers that are out there. Some of you are my absolute favorites, and so I can join you and now start sharing some of my things with you as well. So I'll start with some of the things that I've finished fully. One of the things through the pandemic that I loved was Lori Holts' Prim Village. So this was a pattern that she put out, and I worked on and did it pretty much all the same called for colors and whatnot, and I put it on a chalkboard from Hobby Lobby. It is I don't have the exact measurements on here, but it's just a little bit bigger than the piece, and so then I can set it up. It does have places on the back to hold as well. And I just used a set of magnets on the inside, on the back of this piece with sticky board, and then back here to kind of just keep it so it doesn't, it's not going to fall out at all. So I think that turned out nice. That's fun to have out. Okay, so probably one of the absolute first pieces that I did was So She Did. Of course, I have a quilting background and long arming background, and that's probably my first love, even though I think I cross-stitched as a child before I ever sewed. So I loved this pattern, and I just did a quick simple finish with a frame as well, and used the gray frame, and I think it offsets it fine. Lori Holt sold some of these little buttons, and so the buttons are the little knobs, but this was a super fun one. It really didn't take as long as I thought it would. I'm going to assume, because there's so much of the same color in a blocked area, that it, and then of course words always go fast. So this was kit that is by Little House Needleworks, and I absolutely love their things. I have told you earlier about my 2 kids that I had right away. Those were both boys, and one is now 19, and he is in the United States Air Force, stationed out in Phoenix. And I have another one who's a senior this year who will be graduating, and so we're super excited about that. And this comes to my patriotic love with Long May She Wave, the flag in there. And so it came as a kit. I'm not gonna, shouldn't show the pattern, but all of the lovely floss that comes with it made a very neat design. And I think if I was to do it again, which I probably will at some point, I would want to use a lot brighter threads if I'm going to put it on a coffee tea dyed. And this is a piece of fabric that I just watched Priscilla and Chelsea's videos to do. It was a white piece of, I think it was Monaco. I think it was 28 count Monaco, and just, you know, use that. And it turned out pretty well. I don't have the patterns in here for these. They might have all come from the same one, but these are the little pillows that Lori Holt also, she has these little designs that come together, 4 of them on in one pattern. And so I just made little pillows out of these and used, some of them are her fabrics and some of them are just other scraps that I had in her line. And this one I decided to put a little ruffle around the edge, so it sat in some baskets. But I would like to get, Lori Holt has one of those big bowls. It's like a vintage bowl. I think she used one that was maybe teal, but I know I've seen people with red ones and those are super pretty. So maybe at some point I'll be able to find one of those and get a whole bunch more made and put them, the cute little pillows, in the bowls. As far as Christmas goes, this was a prairie schooler, and of course I fell in love with this one because it is quilt related. A Santa with a quilt. So this one's done. I didn't get it ironed for you, sorry. I just was trying to pull some things that I had finished, not fully finished, but finished the quilts on. And then there's, as far as Christmas goes, another Lori Holt thing. This is the vintage Christmas sampler. And so I've made a bunch of these. Every year I think I'm going to get them all done for ornaments to give to everybody at work. And then I started it the year of the pandemic and thought, okay, for next year. And then the next year we bumped up our enrollment, and so then I didn't have enough because I had started a bunch. I have you know, a number of them done here, and then we keep adding more classrooms and more teachers, so I have to keep stitching along until I have enough for everybody. Also, as far as Christmas goes, this is Country Cottage Needleworks, and it's called Silent Night. And I found this blue fabric. It is 14 count Ada, but I thought it worked pretty well. And I still have to do the bottom. There's another row of this top part at the bottom, along with All Is Calm and All Is Bright. So I need to add that as well. These are some of the cute little needle minders you can get at Hobby Lobby. This one just says Floss Girl. It came with, there's one, I have one here that's Stitching is a Lifestyle. And they were just kind of cute little ones. So some of the things I'm working on now are some pieces that are a little bit bigger. This is also Pumpkins for Sale. And this is another, it's So Emma, but Lori Holt design. And this one I'm finding taking me forever, but I'm really enjoying working on it. So that's how far I've gotten. And the little needle minder that I'm using is one of the ball jar designs from Stitching with the Housewives. from Priscilla and Chelsea. So there we go. All right, so I do have a couple of other bigger ones that are done, but I didn't bring the patterns, and they're up on my wall, so I'll get those down for next time. And I have a couple things here that I would love to get started. This one's from Heart and Hand, and this is like one of my favorites. Farmhouse is, you know what it says. It's got a chicken and a barn on it, along with their bird, and I'm excited to work on this one and get it done. Our house here is pretty farmhousey. We live in the country, so here's another one. This is a Lizzie Kate, and this one is also a farm one. It's a farm sampler. It's one of the snippet lines, and I know Lizzie Kate's things are being sold by, I think, Down Sunshine Lane, and I'm not sure who else has her patterns still to buy. I think that's where I got this one. So lots of fun things. These are the colors I've grabbed for it. So far, most everything besides the ones that have come in kits, I pretty much use DMC. I have a lot of DMC floss that years ago I had done some needle punch, and so I had purchased big amounts of floss for that, and have just been using it for some of those projects, and I should get some of those out and show those as well. But I like it when you can use things for a multitude of projects. One of the, it's called Sew by Row. It is a cross stitch that I did, but it's also a friend of mine and I are working on the quilt for it. And so I do have the cross stitch done and framed, and that's one that I'll show next time. But the actual quilt also uses some floss in it for, I think it's the cords on the irons, and I'm not sure if there's anything else that it uses it for, but those are the main things, so those are pretty cool. This week I have been waiting on the wait list at Fat Quarter Shop for their FlossTube, or their Floss Fix club, and finally I was able to become a member of that. And so February had the pink colors, and I think it ended up being, it was called Taffy Pink, and these are all the pretty classic Colorworks colors that are in there. So I'm excited to be able to use some of these as well. So I think that's all I have for today. Comment below if there's any comments. Please give it a like so that I can keep making more of them. If there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. And have a great Saturday.